welcome to Insureblocks Open Source episode 23. And I'm delighted to welcome two brand new guests. We've got Maya Bundt. Do you want to say hi, Maya?
Hi, everybody.
And thank you. We got Marcel Hegglin. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
And we've got a kiss coming our way from Rory Unsworth.
Hi, all.
And a nice, brilliant wave from Mark Simpson. Brilliant. Excellent. So to kick things straight off, Maya, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and also why have you decided to join our community?
Sure. Okay, so my name's Maya Bundt. Maya Bundt. People will know how to write my name if they Google Bundt cake. That's I have a sweet tooth too. I'm the head of cyber and digital solutions at Swiss Re in the reinsurance field, and I have been interested in cyber security, cyber insurance, risk management, everything to do with the digital domain for a long time now, and this is really my passion. So this is also why I'm here. I'm a good friend of Rory's. That's the one sole reason I joined this community is for Rory, and I'm happy to be here and happy to be learning from this community, but also contributing. So yeah, that's why I'm here. Thanks.
Great. No, it's great to have you with us. So thank you, Maya. Marcel, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why have you decided to join our community?
Sure. So Marcel Hegglin, a Swiss boy living in New York.
I feel there's a song coming.
Absolutely. Shall I sing it?
Yes.
I'm in insurance for 30 years now, which might be a little bit too long, but it is as it is. I'm very interested in insurance and technology, which also basically answers the question why I joined the community, but I'm also very focused on then the reason really why I wanted to talk to a lot of you people and I had the chance to talk to others in the community already is what they see, how they perceive things, how the future is, and what we can do together. So the exchange of great minds and very motivated, nice people is just fantastic.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, listen, Marcel, since you've got the virtual mic, how about you start off by telling us what is it in the news that you found interesting this week?
I just caught my eye caught on LinkedIn on the website that Pi Insurance just passed $100 million premium income throughout the last 3.5 years. I know Pi Insurance because I had the great opportunity to actually visit them 2 years ago in Denver. So I know not only the product and the website, I know also the people. And it's just great to see how such a great group, such a great team actually is successful and what they do, especially because they really help the small business owners in the United States, not only with the coverage of what they serve in terms of insurance on workers' compensation, but also with a lot of information, other support, so that they actually do more than just being an insurance company.
Great. No, thank you very much for that, Marcel. Maya, how about you tell us what is it in the news that you found interesting this week?
Yeah, I saw a blog and the Lawfare blog, and it's about how USCYBERCOM takes on the TrickBot botnet, right? And I thought that was really newsworthy and interesting for several reasons. Because one of the reasons they have been, taking it on is definitely due to the risk to the infrastructure, the voting infrastructure, right? But also because TrickBot delivers a lot of malware and can actually do a lot of harm in the private sector. So this is one of the areas where we now see and kind of in intermingling of kind of the public sector and the kind of also state roles and the private sector. And I am, wondering and have been thinking about what is the role of the state in cybersecurity and also in protecting the private sector for a long time. And I think this is now a new development that I thought was really newsworthy. And let's have a close look at further developments in this field.
No, I think you're spot on. I mean, there is increasing amount of state-sponsored cyber risks that are coming out at the moment that targets not just public.
And the question is, where is the
companies.
state-sponsored cyber response and protection, right? Yeah.
Exactly. No, so thank you very much for that, Maya. Rory, do you want to tell us what is it in the news that you found interesting this week?
Yeah, so mine is a great piece of research by IBM, which proves beyond doubt that all types of filing of your own emails are just not worth it in terms of time management. They don't help with information retrieval enough to warrant the time spent on it. And I spent the last 20 or so years with people telling me I'm far too 80-20 about this, but finally I'm proved right, you see. So I would encourage everyone to bank that time, stop filing your emails in some nonsensical folder system and just spend that time on innovation. Drive it forward.
I don't get why would you. I mean, I used to do folders, but now with search, why bother? And you get your results much faster.
So many things, right? It's path dependency. People are just used to it, and it's I think probably a number of generations below mine certainly don't do it anymore. But I think a lot of people still waste their time on that stuff.
Thank you.
It takes a long time to teach you something different, though, if you want to.
It does. Mark, tell us, what is it in the news that you found interesting this week?
Well, it was a real like as well as an interest. So it was a paper out from Lloyds of London on Monday around a call to action for simpler insurance products. At last, I think was the important thing for me, but really about putting customers first. And it came from John Neal and Bruce Carnegie Brown, and also with a huge amount of input from the Global Advisory Committee that contains some of the great and good, and the London Advisory Committee. So some real heavyweights from the industry talking about this. And it's really important when you look at, in 2018, Lloyds alone had 21.5 million customers and micro enterprise customers. So it's significant. But the other one that blew me away was there were 2,070 consumer and micro enterprise products. Okay, it's a crazy number of products considering what's going on. Anyway, Lloyds has put forward 3 recommendations in terms of areas to work on. So how they make sure that, focus on leveraging, building on the application of existing practices. So they want a linguistic review of customer documentation for both simple and more complex products. I'm sure Rory will have a number of views around that and language in that. So I think that's an important one. To invest in continuous product design and delivery innovations. And here, Lloyds has been looking at data-led products for some time, data-led policies. So if you look at the likes of Whitespace, but digital contracts, and they want people to explore more options. I mean, they call them radical. I don't think we would in this community, but parametric and outcome-based insurance. I wouldn't call it radical, but I still commend Lloyds for wanting to do that. And finally, and most importantly, involving customers directly in product design to build simpler and more relevant products for customer needs. So the only thing I'd add to that is, let's not be product obsessed. So let's make it service-led, product-backed, and I'll get back off that soapbox because I know I'm on it a lot lately.
I'm very tempted to get Chichi to stay in that soapbox because I will join you into it at any second. But I want to move now to back to you, Marcel. Could you tell us, what is it in the news that made you wonder? Dear audience, as you know, we do these recordings, really on the fly. And sorry, I had to stitch this second part of the video together because the power went off in my house. So now we're back, and I have to apologize to both Marcel and Maya, who continued in their explanation of what it was in the news, but it wasn't unfortunately being recorded. So Marcel, if you could please be so kind as to tell us again, what is it in the news that made you wonder?
With pleasure. This week, CookHouse Labs in Canada, which is basically an innovation and design thinking lab sponsored by Canadian insurance companies, announced that there will be a new event or a second event for small businesses. So back to the small business theme I love. And CookHouse Labs basically, and myself to support them, we basically went first through their training. So it's training innovation and design thinking. And part of the training is then also to actually really come up with a product or a service. No? And the team I was in basically then invented the Small Business Summit, and that actually really happened. Also, it's very exciting to be in actually the training where you roll out something. No? So great people, the CookHouse Lab people, but also participants. And we actually did something really positive for the small business owners in Canada. Now, what made me wander around this, learning about the innovation and design thinking, how the future of innovation in insurance, not only in Canada, but basically globally, actually will be. No? Because Mark also alluded to products and services. No? So where is the great design thinking and innovation coming besides technology we hear every day about? So that actually we get to new products and services in the insurance environment on the benefit for actually the people and not basically faster processes and whatever. So that made me wonder.
Excellent. No, thank you so much for that, Marcel, for redoing it again. Maya, also apologies, but could you please tell us again what made you wonder in the news?
Yeah, no worries. Okay, what made me wonder is a piece of news actually that I helped at least a little bit to create as well. And it's an awareness campaign on malware, since it's October is Cybersecurity Month, by the Swiss Internet Security Alliance. And we bring out these awareness topics on a bi-monthly basis to really reach people, to make them aware that there are risks that they are facing in the digital space and what they can do about it, right? And I'm really wondering how we can reach those people that are not yet aware, right? Because sometimes I feel we are preaching to the converted, because those are the people who actually then see these, posts, these blogs, whatever, and actually also read it and then act accordingly. And there is a whole number of people that just don't see it. They just virtually don't see it. And my question is, how do we get to them, right? And when we were talking here, I think one of the reasons I'm here today, and I'm also engaging in some of the communities and active in networking, is I do believe that if you get a piece of information from a trusted source, and a community can be a trusted source, then you are much more likely to not only look at it, but also to believe it and think about it, right? Take it into account, and then you can make up your own mind. But I think this is really important, and thus us spreading the word and basically coming out there, being active in several communities makes actually a lot of sense, because this way we do get the word out, and eventually it will reach those people, those regions where where there's not yet the awareness, and make people actually more aware and thus also more resilient against those risks.
Indeed, and I think it brings up an interesting dimension around identity. Being able to prove that you are who you claim to be. First piece, and the second piece is being able to prove that what you're communicating hasn't been tampered with. That this is exactly what I said and or what I've written, and it's not, it cannot be tampered. And I swear, I think, there's interesting technologies out there, such as blockchain, that can, potentially support these kind of initiatives. But I want to move on now to, so thank you again, Maya, for doing your piece again. Rory, could you tell us, what is it in news that made you wonder?
It's really in my news rather than the big news, but this week as actually so many weeks, I received a phone call from someone trying to get me to change my insurance policy. Phone call.
Yes.
And my one of the week is, why does this type of thing still go on? a little bit outraged of Zurich, but for me personally, it's a mild inconvenience, no problem. You know, these guys are trained to deal with people far angrier than I am, but it's really about the wasted time and effort when there are so many better ways of influencing. I mean, I often criticize Facebook on this show, but here, these direct sales company, whoever's employing these guys who call, right, they can learn something from the digital world. And one of the things Facebook is so good at is locating people and influencing them. And if you can locate someone, you can take them apart from the crowd and have a quiet word with them that you couldn't sort of shout out loud because it would be rude. And you don't have to like make a cold call to them and create a new path to trust. So it just makes me rather embarrassed to be in this field when the sales force is still acting like it's 1985 and Wham is still at #1, you know?
Yes.
That had me wondering. And I also talked with Ebru Chetin, a member of our community today, about that. And she's also wondering about it. Coincidentally, it was interesting, but that's my one of the week.
Great. No, thank you for that, Rory. Mark, are we off to the races?
Well, we're not quite, but it's similar. It's the digital transformation index that probably links to all of the stories. And Marcel, I would take the opportunity to say hello to Sven Roll at CookHouse as well. A great individual who's led that team on innovation, and Maya, we've got something about cyber coming in this index. So Dell, for the last 3 years, have published what they call a digital transformation index. So it's a global benchmark on how businesses self-report their status of digital transformation and readiness. So this year had around 4,300 leaders respond. And again, what was interesting, first of all, was that 80% of businesses stated that they fast-tracked at least some transformation, but only 41% were accelerating all or most of their programs. But my number one at the top of this was we are strengthening our cybersecurity defenses. It's what I call necessity innovation, I think, at this point. But interestingly, number two, being able to work from home, and number three, reinventing how we deliver digital experiences. So maybe we don't call you at home, Rory. So a link to that. But what I found, what certainly made me wonder during this is the top three barriers were around data privacy and security, lack of budget and resources, and I guess that's going to become more challenging. And then interesting, unable to extract any valuable insights from data or information overload. So again, making sense of it all. But the thing that really made me wonder, or the first part, is the espoused versus the actual. So for example, 85% of people foresaw businesses using AI and data models to predict potential disruptions to improve the way they manage risk, yet just 32% intended to invest in it. Strange. Yet 78% predicted that DLT will make the gig economy fairer and there are greater efficiencies, yet only 15% plan to invest in it. So again, first of all, it made me wonder around why what we intellectually understand is important is so different to the way we behave. It almost takes me back, as I pull it out from me, this book from 2008 from David Meister. It's called Strategy in the Fat Smoker. And it basically says the fat smoker knows that being overweight and smoking is damaging for his health, but for some reason he's not able to behaviorally change. So that's what made me wonder. The other thing I just wanted to point out is I do love a good index. Insureblocks loves a good index. So just a reminder, if you haven't taken part, we've got our legal readiness and legal maturity index that Rory's been championing. So do take a look in the community and pick that up as well.
Excellent. No, thank you very much, Mark. Well, I'm going to give a big thank you again to Maya and to Marcel, for being part, of this open source episode. It's been a real pleasure having you on the show. And for you, our dear audience, thank you for bearing with us in spite of the power cut. And we would love to have you on our show. As you can see, having both Marcel and Maya was great. And we would love to get your insights and your views of what you found interesting in the news or made you wonder. But for now, we're going to wish you all a wonderful rest of the day or evening. And we look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye now.